Ah, you're just in time for a progress report. The decryption is finally complete. As we suspected, the data represents a partial record of Preservation's research documents. A quick scan of the files, however, failed to turn up the information Y'shtola was after.
Indeed. No mention of the Ascians, or primal summoning techniques for that matter. While Calyx doubtless received instruction from someone possessed of such knowledge, there was naught to identify this benevolent mentor. I am, however, pleased to say that we found several reports concerning the key.
We know the key is used to open paths between worlds, and was a treasured relic of the Milala. And just as the Milala were unable to return after reaching the Mist Continent, so too was Preservation unable to gain a mastery of the prize which had passed into their possession. The data suggests that a particular formula or procedure is required. A process which Calyx appears to have understood to some degree. Yet the key proved fickle. Perfectly replicating conditions was no guarantee of success. And even when they did manage to generate a modest portal, the destination was never the one they expected. The reports practically screamed their frustration, describing the experience as being dragged around by a traveler picking roads without rhyme or reason. Serves them right, I say.
After much trial and error, Preservation began to experiment with external actuation devices for the key. Striving to maintain a stable pathway to a chosen location, they conceived of the technology that forms the gate to the Golden City.
So, their tribulations ultimately afforded them control of the key, albeit in a limited capacity, which, of course, explains why they were able to instruct Zoralja in its use, thus enabling the unprecedented feat of transferring Everkeep and its environs to the Source. After the Endless Fiend took the key unto herself, she opened pathways to other reflections in her hunt for ether, did she not?
The Milala merely used it to facilitate their exodus. To think what the key has now wrought in different hands.
For all we know, the actuation device augmented the key's power beyond its intended scope. Were your goal to plunder whole worlds of their ether, a tool designed to simply transfer people would likely be insufficient.
Shale, I don't suppose you would be able to remove the actuation device?
The machine made for that very purpose is still functional, thankfully. It shouldn't be a problem.
What do you think? We don't even know how the key works. If the device is somehow interfering or amplifying its capabilities, I believe we ought to remove it.
Give me a moment.
My word.
Ishtola?
This is the first time I've beheld the key in all its unobscured glory. The sheer density is extraordinary. 'Tis akin to the structures we saw beneath the Tempest.
Now that you mention it, the ornamentation is reminiscent of Amarot.
Have you noticed anything since the key has been in your possession?
You're suggesting the key has some connection with Azam. A plausible theory, although one we are yet unequipped to prove.
My apologies. Hello? Yes, this is Cryle speaking. That was Ojika with a message for us.
An urgent matter?
I'm not altogether sure. Tataru requires our counsel, and hoped to call upon us in person at the Baldessian Annex. Though disappointed we were not present, she appeared content to wait until our travels brought us back to Sharlayan, insisting that it did not merit our immediate summons. Her tone suggested otherwise, however, and Ojika felt compelled to contact us directly.
Mayhap the time has come for another journey across the salt.
You'd best go. Though I'll not deny that I'll be sad to see you leave.
Oh, Shale. I can't even begin to thank you for all you've done. We will be forever indebted to you and your Oblivion colleagues.
The debt is ours. We'll never forget the sacrifices you've made for us, for Alexandria. In the meantime, I shall keep sifting through the data. You'll hear as soon as I find anything of note.
Actually, I should like to stay here a little longer, if you don't mind.
You are most welcome.
And might I borrow the key for a while? I wish to study it further. With the utmost care, I assure you.
You better take care of that fucking key you stole, or else I will send you without supper.
Well then, shall we be off? Ojika will be expecting us.
Why does the Shannon Annex need me? I don't know what's happening. I hope it's good news.
Planning your next journey?
Oh no, just reminiscing. Thinking back to when you bought this map, and how you all encouraged me to make the voyage to Tural.
Are you glad you did?
As if you need ask. Welcome back! I'm so glad you're here.
Ojika contacted us. He intimated that you were rather concerned.
What's the problem, Tataru? Did you spend all the fucking money? Huh?
Come to think of it, Alphino said he and Alize would pay you a visit upon their return. Have you not seen them?
Oh no, they were here. I was regaled with many a tale of your Turali adventures. It was only once they departed for Garlemord that the rumors came to my attention. Rather alarmingly, void-sent sightings seem to be on the rise across the star.
Oh shit.
I was reluctant to bother you with mere hearsay, especially when you had more pressing matters to contend with. But earlier I received a confidential report from the Grand Company of Eorzea. It's as if a mighty dam has been breached, flooding the land with foul creatures. For a blessing, most nations have managed to keep the invaders in check, and casualties appear to be minimal thus far. Though the same cannot be said for those regions with a deeper connection to the void.
So, what is happening in the 13th then? Is this always behind here again? What the fuck?
Their fissures continue to manifest without end, putting countless innocents in danger.
A deeper connection to the void. Garlemald is the home of the Reapers, is it not?
It is. Alphino and Alize were there when the trouble began, and have since sent word that the situation has taken a dreadful turn.
Thus concludes the abridged account of our time in Tural. Now I shall leave you with the words of the late Dawn Servant, Galul Jar. Ignorance begets strife. Understanding begets fellowship. A notion that rings true for Eorzeans no less than it does for the diverse peoples of Tuliolol.
And for Garleans as well. Even sharing something as simple as a local dish can pave avenues of understanding. It's up to all of us to forge new bonds, together.
Thank you for sharing your tale. Better they hear it firsthand than endure my clumsy retelling. Your words give me hope that we might achieve something similar here in Garlemald.
We all have the capacity to affect change. Our time in Tural taught us that much. And now that we've returned, it's time we rolled up our sleeves and got back to work.
I've already sent missives to the other nations, informing them of our Alexandrian friends. I also intend to notify the Garlean community officially. If both sides are amenable to the proposition, we shall gladly assist in establishing diplomatic relations with Alexandria and Tuliolol.
Thank you. But are you sure you've recovered from your journey? It sounded like you've hardly had time to catch your breath.
Sir! Lapis Manalis is overrun with void scent. We've sustained heavy civilian casualties.
What?
Lucian Squadron reporting in. We're under attack. Void Scent appeared out of nowhere and ambushed us during a routine inspection. Damn it. Is that another Fisher? No, no, no! Ah!
My comrades are under attack. We have to do something.
There's no time to lose! Come on!
The Garlean community is ill-equipped to defend themselves against such a threat. Even with the aid of the twins and the Ilzabard contingent, they face daunting odds.
We shall leave for Garlemald immediately.
Thank you. I was able to contact Thancred and Urianger too. They're already on their way. With any luck, you'll be able to rendezvous with them on arrival.
You picked a frosty spot for a reunion.
Tataru sent word that you were coming. Full glad am I to see you all. Though I'm afraid this is no time for pleasantries. Planar fissures have opened up across Garlemald, inundating the region with void scent. As far as we can ascertain, there are 2 focal points of their assault. The Ilzabard contingent are combating the threat in Lapis Manalis. Although they have suffered casualties, they appear to have the upper hand.
As well they should. The many talented Uldan thaumaturges among them should be more than capable of closing any fissures they encounter.
Which leaves the second focal point, the Clutium. Eulus and the Garlean community are attempting to mount a counterattack, but are struggling to cope with the sheer number of Voidsent. They've fallen back to the north of the Imperial Palace. Can you lend your aid in securing the area?
With your blessing, I would tend to the wounded returning from battle.
Of course, Kryl. Thank you. The quickest route from here to the front is via the train tracks. Once we arrive, we can support the Garlean forces as we make for the fissure in the munitions factory.
So what is happening with the 13 reflection? Why we have fissures here in the source? Something tells me that it's being broken. It's always behind this shit. Always needs to make an explanation of this. Well, it's dungeon time. Let's go.
You're a sight for sore eyes. Appreciate the help. We'll handle things from here. Take care of the fissure.
That's a good combination with the boss. The Scorpion from Final Fantasy VII and the Poison. Right? What the hell? Let it rip. Let it rip. in an airship factory. Wow. There's a fissure over there. Artillery's down. Shit. Well, was a little messy. Whatever. It was a messy fight for me.
I think that's all of them.
We need but seal the fissure to prevent further ingress.
It's over.
I don't think so, friend. I don't think so.
I can only imagine the extent of the damage were it not for your aid. On behalf of the Garlean community, I thank you for all you've done for my people, for my home.
Something tells me it doesn't. It's over. What? You think to do, but you don't.
I shall close the fissure post-haste.
What the fuck?
If you do that, I will be trapped here.
And you will die for sure. And you don't want to die, I assure you. Yes, you will die. You will die.
You risked your life in vanquishing the creature. Would you at least let me bear the burden of deciding its fate?
But I'm the main character here. What are you gonna decide the fate of fucking Boyset, man? Just like that.
You want to go back? To the void? Your kind have entered this realm before. Some seeking death that they might rejoin the life stream. But you would choose that dark, deathless place?
Fresh and pure, untouched by darkness. Perhaps it won't be a blessing to meet my end in such a place. But I cannot yet bear to part with the void. If only the winds would blow there, as they do here.
But your world is fucked up, man. doesn't have a fix. Sorry to bother you.
I long to return, to see my home unsullied, as it once was.
He's copium.
We know that pain all too well.
He's doing some copium.
If that is your wish, you must forsake this aggression. Go back to the Void and devote yourself to its restoration. I have a friend, Zero, who hails from your home. She and her companions strive to bring light into the Void from another world blighted with imbalance. I hear their efforts have already met with some success. One day, they'll drive the darkness from the Void, I'm sure of it.
His form is imbued with the will of all those I've consumed. We shall return to our world and seek out this Zero. Then we shall see if there is truth in your words.
She won't disappoint you. That much I guarantee.
So what are they attacking here in the source? What do they want? That's the question.
Bravo! I think Zero will approve.
Indeed, that was truly heartening to see.
Understanding begets fellowship, right? I thought I might lead by example.
Well then, shall we head back? The Ilzabard contingent have contained the threat on their front. Things appear to be under control, for the time being. Though it remains unclear why the fissures opened up in the first place. According to Tataru, similar ruptures are occurring across the star.
One thing is clear, however. The phenomenon is not without pattern. The tendency for fissures to emerge is pronounced in regions deeply connected to the Void. Places where the barrier between the two worlds is at its thinnest.
I fear there may be a place in far greater peril than Garlemald. Though it hath since been sealed, you will recall there is a great void gate that we ourselves had cause to open.
Yep.
A gate which was instrumental in our bid to reunite Vritra with his sister and put an end to Golbez's dark plot.
Oh gods. The moon.
With our attention fixed upon planar fissures, I failed to consider this vulnerability. All other paths unto the void are but pinpricks in the veil compared to that great lunar rift.
What's happened? The third thing then. Fuck. Yeah, what is happening?
And that rift might be yawning open as we speak. We'd better hurry. Let us make for Bestway's Burrow. I dare say the Loperites are well aware of current events.
We ought to have Kryl join us once she finishes tending to the wounded. I shall likewise contact Y'shtola. Her knowledge of the moon's void gate is second to none.
Alphino, Alize, please do what you must to keep our world safe.
We'll be back before you know it.
A quick word, if you will. I'm not sure whether you'll run into Zero during the course of all this, but if you do, would you give this to her? Emergency rations, in case of a protracted battle. Can't imagine she's eating all that well in the void. She likes dumplings.
Oh shit.
We're doomed! Doomed, I say!
Holy shit, fucking rats.
Given thy panicked state, I presume the Loperites too are beset with void scent.
Oh, what sweet relief it is to see you all! Yes, void scent. And lots of them. They suddenly came pouring forth from the crater.
I had dearly hoped to find my worries unfounded.
For some unknown reason, the void gate seems to have partially opened. Living May dashed off to activate the brands and halt the Fiend's invasion, but she hasn't come back, and we've since lost contact.
I suggest we make for the brands without delay.
to think what would have befallen me if you hadn't intervened. Oh, I was never in any real danger, of course. I knew you would realize our plight and rush to our rescue. Aetherius is likewise plagued with void scent. If only we'd prioritized further development of the void scent slaughter bots, we could have stemmed the tide ourselves. Oh, what a tremendous demonstration that would have been. Irrefutable proof that I was mankind's staunchest ally and the greatest lubberite to ever live. I can practically taste the praise.
Get to the point, bitch.
Fortunately, I was able to activate the brands. Should any more void scent emerge from the gate, they ought to be confined to the crater. Unless, of course, the void gate begins to expand of its own accord, or some gargantuan monstrosity tries to barge through, I don't foresee any major problems.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, nope. We're doomed.
There you are.
I left the data in Shale's capable hands and teleported here as soon as I heard. And ere you ask, I made sure to bring the key with me.
Okay. What do you read the key, my friend? Okay. Okay, take care of that key, you stole her.
Then the real threat yet awaits us.
'Tis Gorbez's domain beyond the Void Gate. I wonder how he and Zero are faring.
What the hell? Oh shit.
By the 12.
Acid? Oh, you're talking to Asen. Now the stars are... Now in the traveler within the reflection. What the fuck? What the hell? Golbez? What the fuck's happening here, man?
What are you doing here?
Well, I'm just visiting the 13 again. Because of the fucking fissures.
Only you could be so carefree amidst all this.
Yeah.
May as well make yourself useful. The gate's sheer size appears to have made it a tempting target.
Enuo, a dread void scent risen from the benighted depths of the ocean. They kept to the confines of their domain while Zeromus endured. No longer, it would seem. And once they had discovered a path to the Red Moon, they wasted no time in making the journey.
Leave the void scent nearby to us. You take care of Enuo. Facing this many foes calls for a more familiar approach.
Reaper. Yeah.
Void scent can change their form at will. Both light and darkness are mine to wield. Besides, what better to purge darkness from the void than darkness itself?
Dares face me, a mere mortal. Hast thou come in search of power, renown? I fight to end this world without end. All who stand before me shall fall.
shit. I need to be 755. Oh well. Let me hear the music. Trying to remember what Final Fantasy is this song. I think it's Final Fantasy V, but I don't remember what song was. I think it's 5. I remember. Let me check if the crafted gear I can use for getting inside that instance. same item level. I need to search for the other one. Guess I'll go to buy the crafty gear then. I didn't want to spend yield, but let me check if I can have 755 with the ring. Yeah. 766, okay, that's fine. Okay, I think I'm ready to do this. Let's roll. This was what I thought was Final Fantasy V. Yeah, I remember the song. The boss too. looks easy, not hard.
Dare oppose me shall quake before the silken dark. Void's power is mine to wield. Perish. Be still. Accept your downfall. Doth the yawning rift not tempt you? The void consumes. Naught will endure. Neither past nor future. Only one
the darkness. Let the light guide you.
You must break free.
Didn't reach.
All who dare oppose me shall quake before the silken dark. The Void's power is mine to wield. Perish. Be still. Accept your downfall. Doth the yawning rift not tempt you? The void consumes. Naught will endure. Neither past nor future. Only one certainty.
I've breached the darkness. Let the light guide you.
You must break free.
The underlings are no more. Now deal with NOL.
Life and death rendered meaningless.
Light, protect us!
I will not yield my domain! Such is the power of the Void. Shall never cease to be. My power is absolute. The Void's power is mine to wield. All boundaries cease to be. Behold the truth of this world! Accept your downfall. Not tempt you. Be still. Doth the yawning rift not tempt you? Be still.
Ouch.
Thus did all boundaries cease to be. Void's power is mine to wield.
probably made some mistakes,
They
but
must be sealed away. I'm glad you came. We would have struggled to face Enuo alone. I presume you journeyed here to prevent more Void Scent from passing through the gate.
With Enuo defeated, there are none left in this realm who pose a serious threat. I dare say the problem is resolved.
Cause for alarm indeed. Tell us more. So the breach wasn't limited to the Void Gate. For better or worse, precious little has changed in the 13th since Zeromus fell. Have you noticed anything unusual?
I know not the reason events have unfolded this way, but there is, perhaps, an explanation as to why the Void Gate and the fissures opened. Here, in my domain, even the slightest change is keenly felt. When the gate opened, I sensed not the workings of some external force.
the Ashes again. The Ashes again. Oh fucking shit. The fucking Ashes.
Rather, it felt as if the barrier between our worlds was weakening naturally, moment by moment, until the two came to meet.
And you think this weakening could be happening elsewhere?
'Tis a possibility.
What of Razat Han and Garlemald? Eulus took mercy upon the interloper. Whether Void Scent or Garlean, we all share the same longing for home. Should we meet, I will gladly offer them aid. Please tell Eulus as much. Wait, how exactly did you get here? No mortal could traverse the Void Gate in its current state.
I was using a key and Crystal of Asem. And here we are.
And this path of yours is still there. I cannot see it.
Nor does it reveal itself to me. Perhaps the path serves only the key bearer.
Yeah, because I'm awesome, you bitch. I'm a reflection of awesome.
So it is not a means to travel freely back and forth. A pity. I would have liked to see my friends again.
Moon from Final Fantasy IV.
Upon activation, these transmitters will shine with light from beyond, sent courtesy of our ever-watchful friends. They will serve as beacons in the dark for those that would seek me out.
Oh, hello there, Mod of Sauron.
I am Zero, and this is my domain. 'Tis a safe haven for those who abhor conflict. Among those gathered here, many aspire to restore this world to how it once was.
Such a thing is possible?
Indeed. Though how long the endeavor will take, I cannot say. But for those of us abandoned by death itself, what do we have but time to try? and try again.
Very well. This latest ample proof your comrades spoke true. However long it takes to restore our world, you shall have my aid.
And you shall have mine. Would you deliver a message to Euless for me? Tell him that we're making progress towards rebuilding our home. And I hope that he is too.
Enuo's Memoria will be safe here.
You bet you are, motherfucker.
The crystal containing Zeromus has been passed on to our allies in the First.
Okay. I hope it doesn't awaken again over the First. I hope so.
If Enuo's Memoria might serve them in restoring their world, we shall likewise consider its transfer.
How much simpler it would be to aid one another in our respective fights, were it not for these boundaries between us.
Soon, Zero. Soon we're gonna be rejoined with this key and the crystal that I have. We're gonna rejoin all the reflections.
Safe travels, my friend. We take comfort in the knowledge that you're out there fighting too, wherever you may be.
No luck, I'm afraid. It appears she's not in Mare Lamentorum.
Wait. Is that?
God, you had us worried. You suddenly disappeared. We didn't know what to think.
I'm fine, I just visited the 13 in Zero and Golbez to seal the fucking gate.
Shortly after you vanished, the Void Scent incursion abruptly ended. We surmised you had a hand in that, but never did it cross our minds that you were fighting alongside Zero and Golbez.
This golden path you said you traversed wasn't visible to us either. Nor did we hear a voice. Ethos. Might this be the key's true name?
While many mysteries remain, for now, I am glad to learn the state of affairs in the 13th.
Yep.
Golbez's suspicion that the barrier twixt worlds has begun to weaken That would certainly explain the surge in fissures manifesting in the source.
Yet what could be behind such a phenomenon?
Ashen's, right? Ashen's. Here comes the fucking Ashen. Ashen's. Shit.
And who might you be? Not her void scent, I'd wager.
Greetings.
Okay. What do you want? What do you want, Ashen?
I am Helmarut of the Asians. We are your sworn foes, I know. But on this occasion, will you not put away your arms? I wish only to talk.
No. I don't want to talk to Ashen's friend. I don't want to talk with any of the 13 convocation. Spit it out.
Thank you for affording me a chance.
Bereft of the Unsundered, we were under the impression you and yours no longer had cause to continue your activities. That you should reveal yourself at this juncture. I assume you are the one who bestowed Calyx with the knowledge of summoning and the reflections.
Yes, that is correct.
Was it necessary to reveal my present form as well?
Fucking Calyx.
Calyx. So he succeeded in transferring his memories after all.
Yep. What do they want? What do you need? What is your objective, man?
Be at ease. Even were I to occupy a combat-oriented vessel, I would not have the ability to defeat you. You destroyed my plan, my life's work. I have naught to replace it, nor will I ever regain what I once had.
If you wish to speak, Helmarut, will you not tell us what it is that you hope to accomplish?
Yeah, tell us your objective, you motherfucker.
As you know, our star Aetheris was sundered into 4 and 10 shards in the time of the Ancients.
Yep, I know that.
As the will of the star, Hydaelyn perpetuated this unnatural division for millennia. And in the wake of her passing, nature has begun to reassert itself. As a wound knits itself together, the star seeks to become whole once more. Yes, it seeks to rejoin with all of its shards. Unlike the one we Ascians attempted to orchestrate, however, the star's rejoining will afford mankind no special treatment. All life and matter will be condensed into a single whole and remade for a new beginning. A complete rebirth.
Yeah, I know the rejoining. I know all of that. So, are you telling me that we're gonna have another new game? Another sequel to Final Fantasy XIV?
Aetheris will return to the way it once was. Hundreds of millions of years past. To a quiet and peaceful time. Long before the light of mankind was kindled.
So it's gonna be on the Origins form then.
Supposing for a moment we believe you, how can you possibly know all this?
It is an inevitability that I have foreseen since time immemorial. A future that awaits should creation be freed from the influence of Hydaelyn and Zodiac. The star is tolerant to life. It holds no grudges, and neither rages nor weeps for being sundered. Yet by the same token, it is indifferent to life's survival. No amount of devastation and death can compel it to stop the wheels of creation from turning. The earth shakes, and mountains spew fire. Floods wash away the fruits of labor, and icy winds freeze and starve. Countless perish as nature runs its course. So many seeds of life have already been lost, yet in spite of this, people continue to believe that the morrow will come. But it will not. For nothing lies beyond the solstice. When all creation is reunited. When that day comes, every last trace of mankind shall be erased.
Yes, I know that rejoining is like putting out the souls of living and dead things with just one star. There's gonna be kaput. A new beginning.
I cherish man's journey. Despite losing his innocence and being made to live with suffering, he has forged ever onward. Strong, even as he is weak, his is a proud tale in the history of the star. It would be a shame for that tale to end. For all to wither and die, when some might yet survive. Would you not agree?
If a natural rejoining doth lead unto the solstice, then thine intent is to preemptively rejoin the worlds.
correct. It was for this very purpose that Halmarut recruited suitable collaborators from the Reflections. Individuals like me, who would willingly doom another world in order to fulfill their aspirations. The Winterers, we are called. And if you and yours seek to protect all life, then sooner or later you shall have to contend with us.
Even if everything you claim is true, what you've done, Calix, it's unforgivable!
I do not ask that you be pragmatic, nor do I seek your approval. Given your familiarity with other reflections, 'tis only natural that you are averse to our methods. But there is one irrefutable fact that you must understand. Should we take no action at all, the solstice will come, and no one will be left alive. No one. Of course, should it serve to satisfy your ambition, you are welcome to deal with the reflections as you deem fit. Like the pariah and wanderer who satisfied his own when he brought the star to the brink of ruin to face you.
Well, fuck, it's gonna be so fucking shit then. Do we reunite all the reflections right now, or do we wait to naturally see how they reunite them? That's very grim. Parade, return to the Rising Stones.
Long it hath been since last we gathered here. Though our Order's dissolution was indeed in name only, thereafter, we did largely operate independent of one another. All of which is to say, full glad am I to stand in such esteemed company once more.
Apologies for our delay. We're reporting for duty, as bid.
This is everyone that we could round up on short notice. The others are still en route. Estinian alone we weren't able to make contact with. But we're working on it.
No doubt his link pearl is buried at the bottom of his bag.
Knowing him, he'll turn up when we least expect it.
Now, as much as I'd like to savour our reunion, Tataru tells us there have been developments. Will you apprise us of the details? The Winterers and the Solstice.
The veracity of Halmarut's claims remains unclear. Yet it cannot be denied that, in his bid to convert the living into endless, Calix was privy to knowledge of the reflections and more.
And the Winterers are formed of others, like him.
In light of the recent Voidsent incursions, I believe it would be wise to treat the Solstice as a genuine threat. The problem is how to deal with it.
Both the Source and the Reflections are home to irreplaceable life. I would protect them all if I could. But if doing so means ushering in complete annihilation, then what can we possibly do?
I wonder, was Hydaelyn aware of the solstice?
Given that we had no knowledge of it when you journeyed to Elpis, you couldn't have warned Venar. So it is entirely possible she was unaware. But in the course of sustaining the Sundered Star, she may have glimpsed this eventuality.
Yeah, she knew. I know she knew. Because he trusts us. Why the hell did she sacrifice herself to be in trust with us? Because she knew. She knew it's gonna be happening this.
So she believed that we could overcome this trial as well. Or rather, that the choice was ours to make.
Whichever it may be, it is we who must find the answer. We who live in the here and now.
Perhaps we could take a recess? I dare say everyone could use a rest.
Indeed. We have ample food for thought, and it would be good to catch each other up.
Ere I forget, Huron, I believe you should keep the key, Ethos, in your possession.
Yes, Yustola, please give me the fucking key. And thank you for taking care of it.
After all, it seems that is one mystery I am not destined to unravel.
Of course, should it serve to satisfy your ambition, you are welcome to deal with the reflections as you deem fit. Like the pariah and wanderer who satisfied his own when he brought the star to the brink of ruin to face you.
I detest evenings such as this. Too bright, too stimulating. The mind distracted by the inconsequential.
Alex?
You needn't be so wary. I merely come to offer information before my departure.
What kind of information, you motherfucker?
Halmarut and I will soon cross the rift to observe the enactment of another Winter's plan. Our destination is the fourth.
Yes, I know. We're going to the fort, man. We're going to go into the fort. I know that, Alex. I know that. Your information is invalid.
A world locked in ice, whose lands are blanketed in thick clouds. In order to survive, man has fled to the skies, using great magics to establish new civilizations.
Kindness reminds me of the Kingdom of Seal of Chrono Trigger. Huh. Interesting. So what are you telling me? Where are you going? Huh? Do you want to follow you or what?
I have my own designs I would see realized. Nothing more. Believe me or don't, as you like. For all I know, you lack the means to follow us anyway.
But I have the key, motherfucker. I have the key. Yes, I know the way, you bitch. And I won't tell you.
What Halmarut said to you earlier.
That I have all the freedom to visit all the reflections before the solstice, I think. And to visit Xenos? Something about Xenos?
She suggested that dealing with the reflections might satisfy your ambition. But is that truly so?
Ambition, I don't have ambitions. But Asems is a traveler, so yep, that's his ambition.
You have seen battles beyond counting. Have defeated even the fear of death. Is there some conclusion that you seek, no matter the cost? I will share with you a truth.
What, Alex? What truth, Alex? Tell me.
We Winterers each have an ambition that we wish to fulfill. To that end, we may share information with one another, but we do not necessarily share the same beliefs. Just as you and yours decried my actions, I find those of my fellows objectionable. Be that as it may, it is the culmination of our lives' works that we would bring to the world. Fruits born of undying devotion, daring aspiration, and unwavering ideals. No matter how we are reviled, no matter what we must steal, our actions will be vindicated by those who abide in the future we create. In your benevolence, you may seek to save everything and everyone. But once all is consequently consigned to oblivion.
Yes, I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that, Calyx. I'm aware of that.
Your noble deeds will amount to nothing more than folly. For no living soul shall remain to judge them.
Well, MSQ's finished. That's a good prelude to the next expansion, man. Really nice. Okay, I'm gonna be off. I'm gonna take a rest. See you later, bye. I'll solve the MSQ.